Hello, welcome to another one of our videos, and today I'm going to show you a series of, I suppose you could call them dynamic mobility drills for the shoulder. Like some of them are stretches, like this first one, which I'm going to show you, which is just basically the scratch stretch, is what it's aptly scratch stretch is what it's commonly known as. Good to use a stick for trying to help you improve this, and I'm going to show you a difference between my left arm and my right arm. So firstly, this stretch is what it is actually stretching is the front of the shoulder here. So it's stretching the internal rotators of the shoulder. So it's which are the problem ones of the pecs, especially pec minor, and the lats. That's really the two main muscle groups it's trying to loosen off, because it can ruin the stability of the shoulder. And this is my left arm, which is the better of my two, which is not great either, because I really should have my hand up around here, so then both my hands would link. You basically should be able to touch the medial border of the opposite scapula, and I'm not too bad. I'm only a little bit away from it, to be honest, but it's the other one, my right arm, where I've had a lot of problems in the past. But anyway, using the stick's handy, because you can see here as I'm getting my right hand, I can reach down the stick and then gradually just pull the stick up to take my left arm into a bit more of a greater stretch than I could do without it. Now this is where you'll get to see I've had an injury on this right shoulder, and it's just not happy really going past about this point. So I don't want to take it to the point of pain, but I just want to help it to find the mobility that I don't have. All right, and you can see from the front view here just how much my shoulder sort of lurches forward on that stretch. So if I just go back a second, so if I go back, you'll see, so on the front view here, you can see how my shoulder's sort of really lurching forward, where I can't get that hand in close enough. And you'll see here, when I do some of these following drills, so this is the reason I showed that one first, is because it's good as a test to sort of to tell you where you're at with everything. Now you can use the test itself as an exercise, but you can use some of these drills that I'm about to show you, where the stick's handy because it's a fixed thing. It can actually help you to stretch things in unusual ways. So here's a version of a pec stretch that I'm showing you here. So I'm just using the stick to open me up. A little bit of a thoracic mobility thing as well, I suppose you could say. And I'm basically trying to open up through it's the opposite side there. So in this case, it's the left arm that I'm stretching there. So if I just go back, it's this one here that I'm stretching, and I'm just taking the stick through different angles, because my hands are fixed in this point. I can't really open it up or move in a way to not let it stretch. So this is where right here, it's a good stretch on my right arm, where I get a bit of a bicep stretch as well, just because the forearm's pronated around. So it really is quite a unique way. It's a very gentle way. I wouldn't say it's an aggressive type of stretch. So someone with no dysfunction may not find it useful at all, but a person with pain will find it very difficult to do. Now this next one is a really challenging one. So what you need to do, if I just take that back just a little bit for you, you grab the stick and you have your hands out quite wide. All right, so I really need to have them quite wide, especially my right arm, because it's my real difficult one. So you can see that's a little bit more further away from the middle than the left one. Now really all I have to do is keep my elbow straight and take this above my head, and then very gently open up, and that's right here. You can see the difference in the two arms, how my left arm, see how much lower that is down, and my right arm just not happy at all. And you can see that it's quite obvious to see the dysfunction, and it gets worse when I bring my hands in close. So right here is a good sort of stretch. I wouldn't do this if you've had a history of dislocation of the shoulder. It'd be really bad. All right, but if you're just coming out of pain and you're slightly progressing with your mobility, but you know it's not 100%, this is, like I said at the beginning, it's a bit of a dynamic stability drill, mobility drill. So you can see there, I have a little bit of trouble right at that top point. I come all right when I come back over. Now if I bring my hands in closer, you'll really see the difference here, where my right arm just can't achieve this right at this point here, I just can't get there. There's no way. It's just too much stiffness. My left arm is fine. I have to bend the elbow on the right arm to get it down there. And you can see how that's quite a tricky drill to use. But like I said, it can be a handy way to test and measure things, and the exercise itself becomes a bit of a drill. Now this next one, again using the fixed point of the hands on the stick, I'm just sort of sliding it around. Basically it's like a dynamic version of that aptly scratch stretch, where I'm just rolling around, almost looks like kayaking in a way, and really bringing it through. So I'm taking different stretches of different muscles in different angles and trying to make it like effortless and free and mobilizing itself. So you can see how it's different to stretching in that it has that more of a dynamic moving type thing. So great prior to a workout, in between sets of other exercises perhaps as well, could be useful. Again, I might use this at the beginning when someone's in a lot of pain, but I might be using it towards the end stages when the pain is not there but the stiffness might be still present. The last one I'll sort of show you is this. It's a bit of a strange one again. This is where I'm actually going to be stretching the top arm. So we've sort of looked at the bottom arm most of the time. This one I'm stretching the top arm. So all I'm doing is that bottom hand is going to push the stick forward, which pulls the shoulder back on the top arm. And it's very subtle. It's sort of hard to see from this angle. You see my hand pushing forward here. And when you're doing it, you will really notice it, that big stretch through there. So helping you to get that hand down your back a bit more. Usually it's the easier of the ones to do. It's usually the other one before that's harder. But in some cases it can be a real problem. You can see here how much it opens itself up. While I'm doing all of these overhead things, by the way, you've got to try to avoid your lumbar spine going into excessive extension just by keeping a little bit of core activation through there, and that makes sure that you don't actually compensate and cheat on things too much. All right, but these are some quite handy drills, and like I said, they work well at the beginning of a workout. Just trying to loosen everything up without weakening it too much from stretching. Great in between sets as well. And you can see here with sorry, I sort of got my arms mucked up then. This is my sore arm, but I don't have trouble with this action. It's more the tight pecs and lats for myself that give me more the problem. So on this one, I don't find the stiffness and that as much of a problem. If anything, I've probably got too much mobility in this position here. So they're great exercises you can try. See if they work for you. Maybe it's not all of them are going to be good for you. Might be just one or two of them. The aptly scratch stretch is probably the best one for most people because there's a lot of stiffness, usually the dominant hand. And you could just use these in combination with many of the other exercises. Always bear in mind, these drills never really work that well by themselves. They always work well in combination with stabilizing and strengthening. And if you can get that sort of method in your head, things will come together for you quite well. All right, so I hope you enjoy that video, and I'll see you on our next one.